Hey there, folks. Hope you're doing well today. Today, we wanted to look at how the right is reacting to the Epstein files and Pam Bondi's recent performance at a recent hearing where she was questioned about Jeffrey Epstein. Now, we have so many clips and so many people we want to look at. We're actually going to cut this up into two different videos. But let's first begin here, right? For so many people, this was Super Bowl Sunday and they just won. But our QAnon specialist, Chris Yoon, he hasn't posted in over 2 weeks. You would think he'd be doing victory laps in this moment in time. Another person who's not even mentioning any of it is John Doyle. He's an independent journalist that recently signed on board with The Blaze and is probably getting a check either from the Trump administration or Israel or both. Regardless, the way you judge a news organization is by their A block. You said, what do they feel like is the most important story at this moment in time? And so let's take a second to hear what John Doyle believes is the most pending news.
Western civilization is increasingly under attack by enemies, both foreign and domestic. And I actually think that the threats that we're facing can almost be categorically distilled into the three big things we're going to talk about today. Chiefly, of course, there was another transgender mass shooting, this time up in Canada, led to dozens of people injured, 9 people dead. And that is sort of like the very extreme far left manifestation of, the threat that we're facing, the global Leviathan. It is explicitly trying to harm you. It's unpredictable by nature. It's chaotic. You don't know where it's going to strike. I mean, literally, it could be your neighbors at this point.
Yeah, you should really ask Howard Lutnick about monstrous, scary neighbors. He's got some stories to tell you, I bet. Regardless, let's settle in and take some time with heavy-duty country. Take it away.
So Pam Bondi went up in front of Congress and had a period meltdown or a menopausal meltdown or literally any other meltdown that a woman has. And I'm not trying to be sexist here, but it's not a time to be emotional when you go up in front of Congress. When they question you about people who have messed with kids, it's not about you. It's not about, oh my God. It's none of that. You are to sit there and answer fucking questions. That's it. And you guys are going to understand why I'm mad right now. Because I watched this and it was a complete waste of everybody's time. It was a slap in the face to America. It was, oh, you want answers in regards to the Epstein stuff? Well, let me just waste everybody's time, not answer the questions, have a bitch fit. I'm going to say this now. Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, they need to be investigated over the Epstein stuff.
Oh, bless his little heart. Did you see what he just did? He was like, I'm not trying to be sexist here, but that was couldn't have been more sexist. It was just like, come on, man. We're finally starting to get along and see the same shit. And you're just over here, just let me put my foot in my mouth as deep as I can go. But I'm not disagreeing with him. That was one of the most outrageous hearings that ever took place. And he's right. Investigations should occur, not only on Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, but the entire administration. And I know what you're thinking, well, why didn't he say that Trump should be investigated too? Don't worry, he's going to make it very clear in the next clip. He's not mad at Trump, even though Trump is constantly being exposed and his administration appears to be covering things up, oftentimes where his name is mentioned. Let's just roll the tape.
This is sick. So where do we start? And by the way, for folks who were wondering, yeah, the list is a hoax. It's a hoax, okay? And for everyone out there who's like, oh my God, Dan hates Trump now. I don't hate anyone. But if you are doing anything to protect people who have done crap to kids, you are not good in my camp, because I serve one person and it is God. I don't serve Trump. I don't worship my fucking MAGA hat like some of the people out there do. I don't do that. I voted for him because I thought he was going to clean house. I thought he was going to go after elites, but all he's done is fucking served them. He's served them.
And so we see him saying that he's not worshiping his MAGA hat and he doesn't worship Trump, but yet he still can't call him out. He's saying, I don't hate Trump. And this is the cult mindset in action. And it's wild because the clips he shows after clearly demonstrate that he should have some serious problems with Donald Trump. Let's take a look.
I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous.
How about you shut the fuck up and answer the question? Oh my God. Quit your fucking job then. Quit your fucking job. These are people that we elected to ask questions for us. They serve us, you serve us. This isn't a fucking game. Folks, can you imagine if you went in for a review for your job and your boss starts asking you questions and you go, "It's a joke. Oh my God." They'd probably be like, no, it's not a joke. And based off of your response, I'm going to let you go. We're not even 20 seconds into this.
And that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done.
You're deflecting. You're deflecting.
Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one.
And so in that last clip, I think we clearly see why so many people on both the left and the right enjoy heavy-duty country so much. He is truly emotionally invested in all of this, and you could see that in the anger and the frustration in his imitations of Pam Bondi. The guy reminded me of a girl I used to date in high school.
I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center, because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath.
Oh my God, get over yourself.
You said,
Pam, have you ever heard of DARVO? So deny, the perpetrator denies that abuse or harmful behavior has occurred. Attack, the perpetrator attacks the victim for confronting them, questioning their credibility, sanity, or motives. And reverse, victim and offender. The perpetrator portrays themselves as the true victim, claiming the real victim is actually the offender, forcing the victim to defend themselves rather than seek accountability.
Okay, and so are you ready for the craziest part of this whole video? We did not insert that clip. Heavy Duty Country did. Heavy Duty Country is, I don't know, maybe even educating himself as well as his viewers on what DARVO is. Again, this guy is former MAGA, or at least trying to actively leave the cult of MAGA while still keeping one foot in the pool. Who cares? Either way, he's educating people about victim blaming. As much as we bust his balls, there still might be a light at the end of the tunnel for this guy.
there's no evidence of crime. I'm showing you, here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop the limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell, so should the men who patronized his operation. And as we sit here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired.
And we should take a second. It is worth noting, we have seen a lot of Democrats really step up and come with some really good questioning and really kind of expose Pam Bondi for the cover-up she's taking part in, as well as the role she's accountable for in it. And even some on the right, like Thomas Massey, who's really doing a good job too. Now, in the next clip, we're going to see a lot of claims being made about associations with some of the co-conspirators and Pam Bondi. Now, we don't know if this is true or not. This could really play out a couple of different ways. These could just be conspiracy theories that someone on the right is spreading. Kind of interesting to see conspiracy theories come back to bite Trump in the ass. Or Pam Bondi could have actual relationships with some of these co-conspirators and people mentioned in the Epstein files. We don't know. We'll let you decide. Let's take a look.
There was a guy by the name of Keith Frankel who was in the Epstein files. I believe Pam Bondi said that Ghislaine Maxwell needs to rot in jail for what she did, which is probably stupid because, I don't know, I think Trump's going to pardon her. But listen to this. Apparently she's friends with this guy.
Oh, hi, Pam Bondi. What are you doing with Keith Frankel? I have a couple questions for you, Pam. How much were the acting lessons? Do the Epstein victims that you cried with know that you're friends with Keith Frankel? Why was Keith Frankel and Jeffrey Epstein talking about body boxes on February 10th, 2010? You've read the files, so I'm sure you can tell us. If Jeffrey Epstein was such a monster, Pam, how come Keith went to his house so many times? One thing that was mentioned in the Epstein files is children being trafficked out of Ukraine. Keith Frankel and his family run a children's home that takes children out of Ukraine. You need to cut the shit, Pam. You need to cut the shit.
And in this next clip, we're going to see Heavy Duty Country talking about how Pam Bondi boxed her talking points. Let's take a look.
So, guys, this is probably the most screwed up thing. She's being asked about child trafficking, if they're going to prosecute more people. You know, the list goes on. And her response is to talk about the stock market and how good it's doing. We'll shut you the fuck up with money. Don't talk about the Epstein files anymore. Let's talk about money.
The Dow right now is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. George. Pam, you're kind of fucking stupid. You're talking about money and then you say we should be talking about making Americans safe. Well, that would have to do with crime, right? And making our cities safer, not about money in the stock market.
Yeah, and maybe that would have started with the person at the top, electing someone who was known to be tied to direct criminal activity, and then to act surprised. Again, Donald Trump was bragging about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein in magazines. We were over here on the left with giant flags and fires and smoke signals like we're trying to fucking land airplanes or something. And then they're like, wait a second. But again, it's not like Heavy Duty Country hates Donald Trump or something. Oh my fucking god.
Leopards are eating my face.